You might have heard me talk on this channel before about the little bit of problems we are having in this country because of Brexit and COVID. And this is a case of where at one point the Brexiteers were so thankful for COVID coming in and being able to, shall we say, sweep the problems of Brexit under the rug. The problem being, of course, as this analogy normally goes, is that sooner or later, the more, shall we say, dirt and dust you sweep under the rug, the more bumps you see in the rug. And of course, this rug can only, shall we say, cover so much of this Brexit mess before, well, essentially the rug is just covering essentially a massive mound, and it's pretty obvious to the fact that everyone who walks into the house goes, this is a pretty lumpy carpet I'm walking on. What's underneath it? And of course, as we tear back, shall we say, the carpet of the coronavirus and look beneath it, we will see the mess and the dust that is indeed Brexit laid bare before us. Because indeed itself, after this year, especially after this year, it looks like that we are, fingers crossed of course, on a path where we are looking to return to some normalcy post-Brexit. Post-COVID, shall we say. But the big problem, of course, then will become of these problems that Brexit is caused. And we have seen that, especially due to COVID, it's accelerated a lot of the effects that we said would indeed happen. Because one of the things we've said is that Britain is a country that is addicted to migrant labour. And of course, this isn't because British people don't want to work or do these jobs. There are numerous other reasons. Like I say, the idea that British people, quote, don't want to work is ridiculous, and to be honest, is a lazy excuse of people used to just say that the working class in this country are just lazy. And again, I completely reject that as a reason, because in my own home county in South Yorkshire, 1 in 5 people will turn down a job because they cannot get to the job's location. That is a lot of people unable to essentially work because of transport issues. You'd think the government might set about to actually address that and address a problem. But of course, our current government, in the way that it is, ain't going to spend any money to actually address that problem. So let's dive into a company in Norfolk that is having intense problems with labour, and the problems that it is having not only on that company itself, but the knock-on effect it is going to have for the rest of the UK. So, before we do jump into that, please do remember to hit that like, share and subscribe button. And of course, down below there are links to my Patreon page and a one-off donation link called Buy Me Coffee, where you can, well, buy me coffee. And as always, thank you very much to all those people who do support the channel that way. So, this comes from the BBC. The title is Brexit. Vegetable producer says that labour shortages means that food is being thrown away. One of the country's biggest vegetable producers say it is losing thousands of pounds a week and having to throw away food due to labour shortages. The workforce at Alfred G. Pierce, based near King's Lynn in Norfolk, is 20% to 30% down on previous years. The business development manager, Jack Pierce, said that the COVID-19 pandemic and Brexit were to blame. The Home Office said that I should just simply invest in a domestic workforce rather than from labour abroad. Now, I've just said to you that statistic, that 1 in 5 people in my home county in the UK cannot literally accept a job because they do not have the transport to be able to get to it. And of course, King's Lynn down in Norfolk is a pretty rural area. Do you think they're going to have problems getting people? If that's this area, I guarantee you it is not the same, maybe even higher down there. but we'll have to see. So anyway, another company, Freshlands Farm, based in Ramsey in Cambridgeshire, said that it had lost tens of thousands of pumpkins that it had not been able to, because it had not been able to hire any workers to clear the weeds from the fields. Mr. Pierce, who is a third generation of his family to work at Alfred G. Pierce, said that labour shortages were impacting the company's ability to be able to produce goods and the hauliers to actually be able to transport them. So it's not just that they can't get people to actually work on the farms, it's also that they don't have the people to be able to transport the produce. The company, which is based across 3 sites, grows over 60,000 tonnes of carrots, parsnips, sweet potatoes, onions and butternut squash each year, and works with major food distributors and supermarkets across the country. Mr. Pierce said that the labour-intensive nature of the industry means that the shortages of workers was partly down to the pandemic, but also structural problems due to Brexit. His company was having to restrict working, saying that turning down business as a result. While haulage companies simply have lorries that are sitting ready to go, but physically haven't got anyone to drive them. With a chilled product like ours, we rely on just-in-time deliveries, he said. That old phrase, many of you who are long-time Brexit followers will know that the just-in-time delivery system was indeed going to be a major, major problem in Brexit. He said, in some cases, products are being rejected as they are being delivered late. And unfortunately, we are having to bring it back up and just dump it. It's happening on a weekly basis now, and we are talking thousands of pounds each weekend. The farm manager at Freshfields, Jordan Albert, said in just one of the company's fields, they had lost over 90,000 pumpkins it produces due to weeds. He said that they had been replicated in many of the other fields as well, as the usual Eastern European labour force, which used to pick the weeds, had not been available since Brexit. Mr. Albert said it was a big concern whether he could actually find the 20 to 30 people per day needed to pick, wash and pack the remaining pumpkins. A government spokesperson said it recognises the sector had often relied on migrant workers, and that it said the number of visas available had been temporarily increased from 10,000 to 30,000 as a result. The government encourages all employees to invest in a domestic workforce rather than relying from labour abroad, the spokesperson said. We are going to find out just how much the UK actually relied on foreign labour. And it doesn't matter that the government will give people, these extra visas from 10,000 to 30,000. It won't matter, because if it wants companies to invest in a domestic workforce, then the government should actually invest and find ways to help these companies with getting that domestic workforce. But of course it has no interest in doing so, because that would mean that the Tories would actually have to spend money. And of course that is the one thing the Tories are most allergic to: spending money. So as always, thank you very much for watching. Please do remember to hit that like, share and subscribe button. And of course down below there are links to my Patreon page and a one-off donation link called Buy Me Coffee, where you can, well, buy me a coffee. And as always, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you all next time.